In our tech feature this morning, we look at a new development called Smart FastLane solution. Now, this innovation is the brainchild of Shabab Rahil and Nolan, and the two built it to try curb the problems of crime at petrol stations by pre-authorizing the fuel transaction as soon as the vehicle is identified, and the fuel pump is then preset for the maximum amount of fuel allowed for that particular vehicle. To tell us more about this, we're now joined by Payment24's co-founder and joint CEO, Shabab Rahil. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and a warm welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you.
All right, speak to us more about this innovation and what the Smart FastLane solution is all about, and where you and Nolan got the idea to start this project from.
So we looked at using various payment mechanisms to avoid contactless and secure fueling. So in the meantime, when we were looking at our mobile payment mechanism and RFID contactless payment mechanism, and at the same time COVID happened, and what we were looking at to see how we can make it quite convenient for our customers to do a complete contactless experience, but at the same time be confident in the security of the system itself. Therefore, what we came up with the idea was to use camera-based technology with our AI engine, which basically looks at recognizes the license plate number along with make, model, and color of the vehicle in real time to connect to the pump and authorize the transactions for our consumers. The idea behind it is simply, fuel is a grudge purchase. You just want to get the fuel and get out of the service station as soon as possible. So if you like me, you hate going to the garage and fueling up. So therefore, what we decided to do, this solution really addresses that market, but also addresses B2B market as well. And in COVID times, avoiding complete contact with the terminals, with the credit card machines, with the pumps or anything out there, it is quite convenient and secure and safe from that perspective.
So how do fuel stations benefit from FastLane?
So the consumers are demanding contactless payment from the fuel stations, but also fuel stations do experience a lot of fraud in the space. Typically, about 15% of the transactions in the B2B space is lost due to fraud or mismanagement. With this security, our fleet operating B2B fleet operator customers are protected because we are verifying that the vehicle and the driver are physically present at the time of the transaction in real time, on top of the convenience factor. So security is what is one of the main drivers and main benefits for the fuel station operators, and also for the fleet operators who are spending almost 1/3 of their budget in fuel expenses.
So does it work in sync with the petrol pump itself?
That is correct. So as soon as the vehicle arrives at the forecourt, Payment24 cameras recognize the number plate, make, model. If the vehicle is pre-registered, we will immediately connect to the pump and authorize a preset value. But there are additional layers of security where we can do driver authentication as well, where a push notification can be sent to the driver to enter the driver PIN, so we can identify if the driver is the correct driver driving the vehicle as well. But we connect to the pump in real time. An attendant just picks up the nozzle, puts the fuel in, and on nozzle down, immediately the customer receives the receipt on their phone and they drive off.
So after payment authorization, can I go to any petrol station, or is it only confined to one particular petrol station that is aligned to a certain brand?
So it's not nationally rolled out. It's selected service station that we are planning to roll this out to with one of the major brands in South Africa. Because it is camera-based, so you do require certain infrastructure at the service station. But we are already working on the next generation of FastLane, FastLane Lite, which will give more exposure, and it will bring on additional network where we can provide this service more widely to our consumers.
Okay, and for those that are not technologically inclined, won't this be a challenge for them?
Not at all. Actually, it's one of the easiest payment mechanisms. You know how easy it is to pull the car in and press 1 on your phone and authorize the pump. It's that easy. It's one of the easiest payment mechanisms, seamless payment mechanism out there today.
And I understand that it's also built for conditions across Africa and would also work in the rural areas as well.
Correct. This solution can also work in offline environment. You don't need to have connectivity necessarily. I mean, typically mines out there, if you look at, they require a lot of fueling. A lot of depots out there in Africa that require fueling. And typically they don't have good coverage. So our solution can work in an offline environment as well and do all the authentication of the vehicle and connect to the pump in an completely offline mode.
And how has this innovation been received since it's launched? Are people buying into it?
Definitely. We actually are receiving inquiries globally on FastLane because, especially I think because of COVID, this is going to get accelerated. Fuel companies are looking for methods, contactless payment mechanisms out there which are seamless but secure as well. And minimizes the touch. So we are receiving queries as far as South America, Latin America, Europe.
And you operate in 7 countries in Africa, as well as you have a footprint in Europe and the United States, yeah? Tell us more about that.
So as part of Payment 24 expansion plans, we have decided to open offices in US and Europe. We already have people in Panama, for example, in Latin American market. We have partners in Ghana and Middle East and Dubai as well. So because of the demand, we've adopted the approach in selected markets. We are putting down feet already, and in other markets, we are partnering with good service providers that are relevant in our industry. From a customer point of view, we've already, like you mentioned, we are operating in 6 countries in Africa, Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, Uganda, and a couple of others. But we have now also signed up customers in Latin America as well for Payment 24.
All right, and I'm definitely sure that this will be a game changer in the market and in the entire industry. Shadab, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Joint CEO of Payment 24, Shabab Rahil, and he's been speaking to us about their innovation where they've introduced vehicle biometrics to fast-track refueling.